14 months after my son died, I was still sending his wife money until my neighbor decided that money should be his. The money I sent my dead son's wife every month was the only thing keeping me alive, and my neighbor was about to take that from me too. My name is Gerald Holt. I am 63 years old. I have a bad hip, a paid-off house, and one photograph on my refrigerator. In it, my son Marcus is laughing at something off camera. He is 29 in the photo. He will be 29 forever. The crash happened on a Tuesday in November, 14 months ago, on a stretch of county road I've driven 1,000 times myself. A logging truck ran the light. Marcus never saw it coming. The officer who came to my door, a young man named Prout, who couldn't hold my gaze, told me it was instantaneous. I've been trying to decide whether that's supposed to be a comfort. Marcus left behind a wife named Dana and a mortgage with 11 years left on it. He left behind a dog named Chester and a toolbox in the garage that still has his fingerprints on the handles. He left behind me. I started sending the money, $1,200, first of every month, cash in a white envelope, because Dana had gone back to work at the school, but the numbers still didn't add up. She never asked me for it. I just did it. I drove the envelope to her mailbox on the 1st, every single month, the way other men my age drive to church. It was the one ritual I had left that made me feel like a father. My neighbor Raymond Cross knocked on my door on a Wednesday evening in March. Raymond is 51, recently divorced, and owns a pressure washing business that I suspect does less business than he claims. He has the practiced grin of a man who learned long ago that confidence can substitute for competence. I had never disliked him, exactly. I had simply never needed to form an opinion. "Gerald," he said when I opened the door. He had a bottle of bourbon in one hand and the posture of a man delivering good news. "You got a minute?" I let him in because I was raised to let people in. We sat at my kitchen table and he poured 2 glasses without being asked. The photograph of Marcus watched us from across the room. "I'll get to it," Raymond said, which is always how a man announces he won't. He talked for 10 minutes about a real estate opportunity, a storage facility outside of town, a partner who was pulling out, a window that was closing fast. Then he looked at me with eyes calibrated to project sincerity and said, "I need 40,000, Gerald, 60 days. I'll have it back to you with 15% on top." I looked at him for a long moment. The bourbon sat untouched in front of me. "Where'd you hear I had that kind of money?" I asked. He waved a hand. "Small town." "Raymond," I said, "I don't invest in things I don't understand." His smile held, but something behind it recalibrated. "It's simple." "I understand the math fine," I said. "What I don't understand is why a man with a real opportunity needs to borrow from a retired machinist instead of a bank." The smile finally dropped. He refilled his own glass. "Banks want collateral I don't have right now. It's temporary." "I'm sure it is." He leaned forward then, and his voice shifted into something lower, more deliberate. "I also know about the envelopes, Gerald, the cash, every month to your daughter-in-law." He paused. "Now I'm not saying anything by that. I'm just saying a man who gives away $1,200 a month clearly has money to spare." The kitchen was very quiet. Chester, Dana's dog, I'd been watching him while she traveled for work, lifted his head from the corner and looked at Raymond with the uncomplicated suspicion that only dogs and honest men are capable of. "Get out of my house," I said. Raymond blinked. "Gerald, I'm not going to say it again." He stood slowly, the way men stand when they want you to know they're choosing to leave. He buttoned his jacket. At the door he turned and said, "You're making a mistake." "I've made bigger ones," I said, "but not lately." After he left, I sat at the table for a long time. I thought about Marcus, who had his mother's laugh and my stubbornness, and had somehow turned both into a life worth grieving. I thought about Dana, who was raising herself back up one day at a time with a dignity that shamed my own stumbling efforts. I thought about Raymond Cross, who had looked at love, at $1,200 in a white envelope, at the only act of fatherhood I had left, and seen a ledger entry. I poured his bourbon down the sink. Then I got out a fresh envelope, counted out the bills, sealed it, and set it by my keys for the morning. Some things I have learned You protect not because anyone is watching, but because the moment you stop, you become someone your son would not recognize. And I have lost enough already. I was not going to lose that too.